Outside, I have practically no experience bouldering. When I was younger, my mom really didn't let me boulder because she said it was dangerous. And so I decided that at the end of this year, I wanted to take a bouldering trip and just kind of get some experience out on the rock. Bishop, California has some of the most iconic climbs, not only in America, but in the world. It's kind of just an honor to be here. One of the climbs that I got to climb was Evolution. The moves are a little bit big, which is my style since I have a +7 index.
He decided that he wants to tackle some of those harder routes, 515 routes. In researching them and speaking to different people, he realized that bouldering was a key piece to it. You have to be able to boulder the V12, V13 grades and have the endurance as well. And since he has crazy endurance and he's been doing a lot of sport climbing, he knew that he needed to back up and start to focus on bouldering a little bit more. So that was kind of his motivation for this trip initially, to get used to making those powerful moves on rock, because he knows that that fits into the bigger picture of being able to do that on sport climbs.
Hitting the top hole in Evolution it was pretty cool and it was really high. People were telling me to top out and I was absolutely against it. No highballing for me.
I ended up sending it. I sent it on my second go, and it was awesome. My hands are a little cold though, and the holes are a little bit sharp, but I had a good time. The climb's amazing.
When I first walked up to Mandala, of course I had done my research, and I knew how popular of a climb and how many strong climbers had done it. And so going up to the climb, I was really excited to give it a go. I would get past what people call the crux and then fall on the last hard move of the climb, which was a little bit frustrating for me, especially when I knew I could do the move.
Working with your own kid can be a little special sometimes, and when he was younger, it was tough. Now that he's older, he owns it. I'm more of an assistant now, opposed to really the drill sergeant that's actually helping him to stay on track and everything.
When I was younger, I can definitely say that the feeling was mutual.
I drove him crazy and he drove me crazy working with him, but we were kind of stuck.
Yeah, we didn't really have much of a choice because if I wanted to do what I wanted to do and have my dreams, I had to have my mom by my side. And she's always been by my side. She's always been the one on the other end of the rope or the one motivating me at the gym to push myself. The conditions when I was climbing Mandala were not ideal. Hopefully I can go back and finish it up. On Thanksgiving Day, yeah, when we were coming back from the crag and we went over to a hostel to have Thanksgiving, there was plenty of food stretching all the way across this huge table. Not only was the food great, but just seeing the climbing community together all at once was amazing, and how welcoming everyone was.
I actually had a little moment when we were sitting at the table for Thanksgiving when I looked over at Kai and he thought I was sad, and I had to explain to him that it wasn't sad at all. It's an amazing contrast just watching Kai grow up in this community compared to where I grew up. We looked around the table and there were different races, nationalities, and even though everyone was so different in a sense and no one knew each other, it was like one big family.
I always have enough room for dessert, by the way. But I ate and ate and ate till my stomach was absolutely full.
That is a beautiful place just to watch my son grow up in.
I definitely got to climb some pretty cool climbs, including a V7 called High Plane Drifter. It was pretty cool learning the history of it and realizing how popular and sought out this climb was, especially back in the day, like in the 70s. And so being able to climb it was definitely a cool experience. When I climbed it, it was absolutely freezing and snowing all around me and overcast, and I was definitely motivated to do this climb first go because I didn't want to have to hold those cramps again. It was that cold.
It is much easier to watch him from the bottom when he's on a rope and I'm attached to the other end, because I have some control. I can keep him safe. That's definitely much easier. But sitting on the ground with him ropeless, climbing up some of these high climbs, that's definitely a little scary. But he wants to do it, and I just hope and pray he stays safe just as he goes up and do them. But it's much more scarier than for me than it is when he lead climbs.
I couldn't believe that I gotten up there because my hands were absolutely numb and kind of shaking and throbbing a bit. And so I definitely wasn't comfortable. I can't feel any of them.
This place is nothing like North Carolina. I can't. I'm done. I went back to try Mandala today, and for the second day actually. And the first day, the conditions weren't as great, but today the conditions were great. And so when I went to climb it, I felt super motivated and psyched to give it a go. I sent it on my second go of the day.
He decided that he wanted to climb. He got into it. He got motivated to do it. And I was probably a little discouraging in the beginning because, I mean, it's not in the Olympics. You can't get a college scholarship for it. But he really didn't care about my opinion or his friends around him that teased him for doing the sport, because this is something that's totally off the beaten path in our community. Rock climbing is African Americans in general, it's not popular. Basketball, football, and a lot of kids in the community now look at it and they think that it's awesome that he's traveling to so many different places around the world and that he's doing something that is so incredibly different. They think that it's pretty amazing to just find that passion and go for it.
I've had an amazing experience here in Bishop. Not only have I got the experience that I wanted out of the trip, but I've also been able to climb some really iconic problems and meet some pretty cool people. All in all, this trip was definitely a success. I'm pretty psyched about it.